Hello, and welcome back to this week's Code 2 Advanced Powers AI Tournament. As I said before, last week we had the Americans win against Overcommando West. Here is the bracket so far. Currently, USF is going to be up against the British forces. Next week we're gonna have Wehrmacht versus Soviet Union, and then the two winners will fight it out in the finals. So this is the first of the semifinals match. So with that out of the way, I already have the map loaded up, and the game already preloaded. So let's begin. Oh wait, whoops. Change of plans. I have accidentally forgot to change one of the settings. Okay, well, this might take a bit of time, but, ooh. I have forgot to change one of the settings, specifically the victory condition. So we will be restarting with new victory conditions. Because vic points with AI is boring in my opinion. That will be our tiebreaker. I forgot to change it from last time. Instead, we're gonna have 2 out of the 3 matches be Annihilation, and if they are tied, then the tiebreaker is gonna be Vic points to try and keep things a bit quicker, because these Annihilation matches tend to last quite a bit of time, but they are pretty fun to watch. So while the game quickly loads, I will go over what each of the factions have available to them. So USF, in this case, as with last week, they have access to 3 tech trees that they can go down, 3 unique tech trees. The first of which would be advanced weaponry, which will give them more expensive but higher quality units. The second, I believe, is the Marine Corps, which will give them their own unique set of units and lock them out of certain units, but give them access to new ones. Then you have, I think, War Bonds, which is just infantry spam. With the Brits, you have Trench Warfare, which is, well, they can build incredibly sturdy defenses. You have Royal Armor, which will allow them to pump out tanks like crazy. And finally, you have Commandos, which specialize in infiltration and assault tactics. Otherwise, let us get into commentating. I shall quickly just dismiss these men. And here we go. So currently we are watching the Brits, and we will be following the Brits as they play their 2 matches. The Brits currently, based on what I've seen, have an advantage over the Americans, at least early, because the Americans tend to be a bit slow, at least in this mod, with rolling out. Last week we saw them, well, we saw OKW absolutely destroy them early game, but the Americans didn't make quite the comeback, and they did win their Annihilation and tiebreaker matches. But they did have to win the tiebreaker in order to get to this week's round. So early game, we're not really going to be seeing much. other than like maybe a couple infantry sections duking it out with some rifles. AI's getting a bit confused here, but should still be fine. Maybe. Let's see. So with this current layout, Americans should have a bit more pressure near the bot side, while the Brits have a bit more pressure near the top side of the map. And it should be a bit more fair, I think, this way. But, it doesn't seem like the Americans are anywhere near mid. Brit AI is just standing there. Looks like he's equipped them with flares. Same thing goes over here. Yeah, the Brits have made it to the center of the map first, at least when it comes to some of the resource points. Top, of course, is expected. This guy over here is just broken. And we do have a counter over here. Jeep has made it, along with Lieutenant. Rifle section is out of position. They can't maintain distance. They will just get absolutely mowed down by those semi-autos and the bar. Oh, Americans have taken up residence in the building. Up top, they aren't really pushing forwards. They have gotten commando squads, so I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to be using. Seems like they're just stuck around here. Oh, nope, they unstuck themselves. Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, okay, game's back to normal. Down here, I'm pretty sure the Americans have pretty much taken this entire bot sector, and now they're swooping upward. The Brits are just absolutely getting mowed down by automatic weapons right now. They are relatively slow on their rollout. We just have a huge conglomeration of forces up top, though. It seems like they're finally mobilizing them. Brits seem to be the first to get some more armored carriers. This thing is just using a model of a Sherman, because it's very difficult to import custom models into modded things in Company of Heroes 2. You do have a UC with a flamethrower, so if they push that up, that can absolutely wreak havoc over here, but it doesn't seem like they want to. Down bot, the Americans are absolutely destroying the Brits. They're making huge strides. I don't know what this British AI is doing, honestly. They're absolutely getting slaughtered by American hordes. Jeez. Yeah, no, they're just sending in their units one by one. There's just so many men over here that just get mowed down pretty much instantly. They do have an AT gun to stop any sort of armor advances, but Brits have other things to worry about right now, you know? Armored forces are the least of their worries. Oh, we do have a flare on this one squad, but squad is being forced to retreat. Brits might be able to push back middle. Up here, it seems like they're using a kangaroo carrier, yeah, for its machine gun. Which might actually be effective since down here, these guys have no AT right now. Any AT they had was retreated. So I saw a Zuka squad earlier. But Brits might be able to take back ground here. Okay, okay. So, fight might not be as one-sided as initially thought. Yeah, no, they're finally pushing up with this massive horde. Holy shit. Okay, there's the bazooka squad earlier. They're focusing on a UC, but missing pretty much most of their rounds. Americans have sent an officer to the front, a logistics officer. He's no longer at the front anymore, I'll say. Same thing goes with this rear echelon. Ooh. Yeah, no, Brits are making quite the comeback right now. They just need to get rid of some of the stragglers back here. Otherwise, they have quite the force built up. Holy shit. Ooh, what the hell did the Americans bring? They have built a Patriot system back here. That thing will absolutely destroy any infantry and light vehicle that pushes up, along with aircraft. So the Brits have to deal with that somehow. Usually you deal with it using artillery or just a direct assault with heavy tanks, but the Brits don't seem to have any of that right now. They're just tanking it. Americans are trying to rally their forces from down bot up to here. Probably using, yeah, right here, using this area over here to cycle them in. If they had a heavier vehicle, they could have just ran over this hedgerow over here to open up a new path. But Brits are flowing in. It's like a reverse situation from the beginning. Holy shit. Now the Brits are the one with the hordes. The Americans are being pushed back pretty hard. Americans seem to be building up a ton of forces over here, though, as the Brits are pushing down on this side. Brits do have some mortars for fire support, luckily. But there goes one of the kangaroo carriers, yeah. Just rushed it in headlong. Americans have that AT gun, you can't really do that anymore. They also have bazookas on a good chunk of their squads now. Ooh, but the Americans have a Ronson. That thing will absolutely decimate British infantry. Brits need to bring up more AT. But will they actually do that? Who knows? They have an AT gun right here, but again, there's all these infantry in the way. And they do have flamethrowers and Zookas. Brits seem to want to set up an MG over here. Meanwhile, while they're holding that off, Patriot has just done a ton of work, just mowing down everything that gets in this area. The British forces have really dwindled since last time. Holy. Over here, we got a major, well, not major, captain trying to fight at close quarters, which is normally you'd want to do that in a vanilla just because you have access to a Thompson, but in this case, you're up against NGs with shotguns and commandos with SMGs. So, yeah, no, that's not good. Up here, the Brits seem to be reconsolidating their forces, but they aren't dealing with the anti-tank weaponry. For some reason, if they dealt with that, then maybe they can push up with their heavy armor, well, their heavier armored forces, and then just mow down all the infantry for the infantry to push. But no, the Brits seem to be... Oh, there we go. They finally took out AT due to the universal carrier flamethrower. Now they still have to deal with this Patriot. No idea how they'll do that. Oh, but the Americans did bring out their first bit of heavy armor, the Super Pershing. That thing is pretty good against pretty much anything. It is one of the more versatile tanks in this mod. But it is hella expensive. The Americans lose that, that's a good chunk of their income gone, since it's like around mid-game, 9 minutes in. Most of the fuel just went into that thing. And Brits don't seem to have anything to pen it other than maybe their 6-pounder. But even then, that thing only has a pretty low chance of penning. The rocket guns that the Brits have don't really do much against the Pershing. They're meant for squishier targets. Oh, they also have a Stewart and a Jumbo. Oh my, the Brits might be in quite a pickle here. But they do have a ton of indirect fire in the form of 2-inch mortars. But these things don't really hit that hard. Americans have built another Patriot at the front line while nobody was looking. Meanwhile, the Brits have managed to take... Wait, why do they have a... Oh! Okay, no. This is a commando 6-pounder squad, which does get 2 extra men. I forgot about that. Over here, the Americans seem to be trying to re-rally their forces around their armor. Brits are trying to take out this Patriot, but it's not really doing much. when artillery wipes out their AT guns. The Brits might be stopped here by American armor, honestly. Hold up, let me check some settings real quick. Okay, well, I forgot to turn on the BGM. Oh, back to the game. Americans are retaking some of the ground that they have lost, but it is pretty stalemated right now. But it seems like the Americans, again, have an advantage due to them actually bringing armor, while the Brits have kangaroo carriers, AT guns, and UCs. They don't really have much for anti-tank. They do have some bazookas and Piats in the mix. But otherwise, they don't have much else. Ooh, and they're not prioritizing good targets either. Americans have taken the advantage at the top side. They might just completely sweep this game. Patriot absolutely annihilating this AT gun up here. Oh, British forces seem to have reorganized and are now re-pushing the bot side instead of focusing on the top. The Americans are just taking everything up top though because of that. Ooh, that super Pershing just got a minigun strapped to the top of it now. Holy shit. Yeah, no, infantry are not gonna have fun with that one. Meanwhile, over here, I think we got a bulldozer Sherman just absolutely annihilating everything. They've run over this hedgerow over here, allowing easy access for infantry. Meanwhile, we have a ton of forces just scattered about everywhere for the Brits. They don't seem like they can do much right now. There goes a sharpshooter squad. Ooh, but a grenade does manage to take out one of the American squads. But at this point, squad losses mean kind of nothing. Is that another kangaroo carrier? Yep, that is. That thing might just get gunned down right now, unless the Brits do something about it. AT gun is not aiming for the kangaroo carrier for some reason. Meanwhile, that jumbo is... I don't know why it's backing up. It could just easily gun down those heavy assault infantry. Speaking of which, those things are very expensive, but very good for their price, honestly. But as their name implies, they are better against infantry. There they go, though. Yeah, the Brits don't have... Oh, this is gonna be a rough one for the Brits, honestly. They don't really have much to counter this amount of combined arms by the Americans. Good chunk of them. One of them, well, I'm pretty sure like two of them have gone advanced weaponry, and one of them has, at least one of them has gone Marines. Oh, there goes that one. I don't know what that tank is. It's very difficult to see initially. Ooh. Yeah, no, the Americans are just sweeping up the Brits now. Not much the Brits can do against this many Americans. They got their Piats a bit too late to do much. Honestly, the Brits right now are just, they're just taking points whenever possible, but they're just constantly being outgunned by the Americans in pretty much every encounter. Americans are making quite some progress right now. Ooh. Well, the Brits do have some Blackwatch AT to deal with some armor. Those things hit hard, but they are currently being gunned down. The range is not being abused. Their anti-tank satchel charge certainly is, though. Oh, they might die here if they don't retreat. All they got left are the bazooka men. The infantry section is not having a good time with that Spia either. Oh, Brits are desperate enough to send their Logi officer to die at the front. Oh, and here we see the Super Pershing just going ham in the back lines. The Brits can't really get anything to the front. It just one shot a UC. The Super Pershing might die here if the Brits actually focus their efforts on it. That is where a good chunk of the American pressure is. This jumbo over here is taking some fire from a British sniper. Those things can pen armor, but they don't do much damage against heavier armor. Ooh, we got the M5A1 Stuart 5 over here with an autocannon. It's very terrifying, honestly. I think the Super Pershing might make it out alive. The Brits don't have any sort of AT over here. Meanwhile, they have seemingly taken the top side with a fair amount of AT. That's still Kangaroo? Yet somehow that Kangaroo is still alive. I have no idea how. They have managed to take out a jumbo. But back here, we still see a ton of armored vehicles with infantry support. Ooh, the Americans do have a Jackson, so pretty much any sort of armored support the Brits bring up will not be having a good time. Speaking of which, they have a Churchill Bulldog. That thing is armed with two 75 mils and a 40 mil. Honestly, they don't do much damage against armor, at least heavier armor, but they have a ton of firepower. Because essentially you're fighting with 2 guns on it, which is really nice. At this point, I feel like the Brits can only really come back if they use something like the Tog 2 and then somehow, through a miracle, play around it. Ooh, the Bulldog is doing some work against infantry. Luckily, that thing is hella tanky. It's still a Churchill, nonetheless. Over here, though, we have an M4A3. We no longer have an M4A3. That veteran Marine squad is armed with a recoilless rifle, so those things will do quite some damage to tanks. Meanwhile, we have Jackson just absolutely going ham, or attempting to go ham against his Bulldog. It's not going to turn out well, honestly, since essentially he's being outgunned 3-1. Ooh, Jackson crew. That balls of steel trying to fix up their Jackson at the front line. That doesn't mean anything against anti-tank munitions, though. UC absolutely annihilated. Easy 8 is already being pulled out by the Americans. That thing is just pretty much one-shots a good chunk of their light armor there. This Kangaroo carrier is still somehow alive. I'm amazed, to be honest. I don't know how it's still alive. Meanwhile, oh, T-28 right there by the Americans. That thing punches through pretty much anything in the game. But, oh my. Yeah, no, the Brits are being pushed back way too hard. I don't think they can ever recover. Trying their best. We have infantry support variant of the Churchill right here. Meanwhile, that Churchill is doing a good job tanking, but it seems like the Americans do have a Calliope back here that is raining hell onto any British infantry. That Churchill might die here as well if it doesn't pull back fast enough. If that M6 decides to go after that Churchill, it's pretty much screwed. An earthquake bomb just hit the Brits here, finishing off the Churchill, absolutely crippling this M4A3. Any infantry nearby are currently suppressed and very injured. Holy, there goes a super bazooka squad by the Americans. We do have a Vulcan Sherman to deal with any infantry, including Black Watch. But Black Watch is a fair bit tankier than your usual infantry. T-28 is pushing up. It seems like the Americans want to close out the game by the before the half-hour mark. Vulcan Sherman absolutely annihilating any British forces in the way. And I'm pretty sure this is like 95% sure this is game. I don't think the Brits can come back from this. Ooh. They could certainly try, especially with that Black Watch over there. They're all armed with Bren guns, which is terrifying because of how accurate they are. But honestly, it doesn't matter in the face of artillery. You can't outrange the arty. Ooh. Yeah, nope, this is game. Oh my, another earthquake bomb by the Americans. A bit late, but, well. Either that, or that is naval artillery. No, that's an earthquake bomb for sure. They stunned their own men. I think 2 of them dropped. Vulcan Sherman absolutely tearing up any infantry that comes near. That is a Command Easy 8 over there. That thing has lower performance capabilities, but as the description says, it provides buffs to its allies, which is pretty nice, honestly. Greyhound is probably going to be gunned down here. Don't know why this Sherman is stunned. Who is shocked. Greyhound, I think, is dead. Yep. Americans have stolen a Vickers and are using it to suppress anybody trying to leave base. The Vulcan Sherman is coming up to do some cleanup here. I don't know why they aren't pushing up with the T-28, though. Spawn is being pushed into, I think. Do have some machine guns here to stave off the enemy hordes, but Easy 8 just one-shot it. Ooh, that tank just got sniped, I think, by the T-28. No, the Marine Raiders are just sniping with their bazookas right now. M6A1 pushing up, trying to take out the AT gun. Meanwhile, American artillery has been also moved to near the front line, as seen over here. Extra men are being taken and turned into artillery by using the leftover 2-inch mortars that the Brits have left behind. If we look over at the front, oh boy. Oh boy. Yikes. Americans have already pushed into my base sector. But that won't stop me from relaying all this information to you guys. Blackwatch trying their best to penetrate with, well, 308. But, you know, 30 cal ain't gonna do much against that armor of a tank. Hera is actually somehow holding their own until they weren't. Grenade did do quite a bit of damage to Blackwatch, though. This Grenadier squad is not having a good time, however. Marine Raiders might die here, though. They definitely do. But the Americans, for some reason, aren't really pushing in that hard, despite the amount of men they have at the front. I think a good chunk of them are artillery pieces, yeah, which is probably why they're lacking a ton of manpower right now. Well, they're lacking pop caps specifically. That is a P-47 strafe. Loiter specifically. That is going to wreak havoc on any infantry and armored vehicles in the area. Along with the Calliope strike, yeah, no, the front area right in front of the base is cleared out. Oh my goodness. Americans are pushing up with the M15 to wipe out any infantry. Easier is being pushed up to take out any vehicles that are left over. But the Brits just keep on pumping out more men. And the Americans just push up with all their armored vehicles. I don't think the Brits can do much. Oh, that's a minigun team. Those will rip and tear through pretty much any infantry squad. Oh my. This LVT over here is not having a good time. Just got sniped by this sniper. Yeah, nope. That's the only kill. Sniper might die soon though. Wait, sniper. Oh, almost single-handedly takes out that M15. Oh, where is he gonna aim next? Gotta train that rifle somewhere. Oh, there goes my construction vehicle. There goes our sniper that we're watching as well. He'll probably never rest in peace. We have swaths of men just being conscripted to the front right now as the Brits are trying to hold off with the last lines of defenses here. Who knows how long it'll take for the Brits to fall, because they are rather good at just bunkering down. Gotta give them that. That Calliope is doing quite a bit of damage to them, scattering all their men. Brits seem to be using this HQ over here as a staging ground. These two aren't being hit as hard, in my opinion, as this area right here. But nonetheless, oh, we have an American sniper team over here just picking off men. Oh, no longer sniper team, just down to a single sniper. Same thing goes with this machine gun. This ex-machine gun team. Ooh. Stewart pushing right into the middle of all the enemy forces, taking fire from an AT gun and a rocket gun squad. But, I don't know if he'll make it out alive. The Americans finally have the balls to push up with their armor now, for some reason. But, Brits are trying to amass all their forces here for a last-ditch defense, it seems. Up top, nothing much is going on, except for an assault by a single jumbo. But down here, my god, all this artillery back here, along with the forward repair area pretty much, and a ton of their heavier vehicles are being pushed into the American, well, into the British lines right now. Meanwhile, the Brits don't have any way of quickly getting AT onto the field. Unless they spam out AT guns, I don't think they can do much else. Even then, Calliope is making it very difficult for anything to survive. Same thing goes with all these mortars. There goes my HQ. Now the Americans are pumping all their men forward. Ooh. There goes the first British HQ. Company command post might die here. Yeah, it's probably gonna die. Yep. The Brits have pumped out Royal Engineers in a last-ditch attempt to repair, but those aren't really gonna do much, in my opinion. Meanwhile, up top, yeah, same situation. We only have a single jumbo pushing, but it is being assisted by a T-28 now. Hopefully they've loaded AT into that thing, even though they probably should have kept it in the back. The singular sniper has now been reinforced back into a team. I may have spoken way too soon. T-28 over here, just absolutely mowing down everything with its top-mounted minigun, though. But it can't seem to get a good lock on with its main gun. Like, it's as if they don't know where they want to aim. Over here, though, yeah, no, this British base is dead. All the Brits got are these engineers. And the Americans can push on with a second T-28 to these other two bases. Of which these are already pretty damaged. Holy. British engineers have nowhere to go if they want to repair. Americans just pushing their AT guns directly into base for some reason. There goes the sniper's team. This time, there's no man left. Brits trying to send out their own singular sniper, but the Americans are just kind of overwhelming them with armor. The Brits just don't know how to deal with it. Ooh, sniper just got sniped by another sniper team. Holy, counter-sniped. Meanwhile, all the British forces are up here, except for a couple engineers being massacred down here trying to fix shit, but... Good lord, these Americans don't know how to push. I swear. Honestly, this is why some people... This is probably why they don't do annihilations in your vanilla queues. It takes ages, honestly. But hey, annihilations are fun from time to time. Is that another kangaroo? No, that is an actual tank. That's a Sherman. Pretty sure all the British resources went into getting that singular Sherman. But, too bad its odds are very stacked against it. No, that's just a regular kangaroo carrier. I thought that was the second Sherman for a second. Oh, the Brits are all dying. Company command post down. Platoon command post might die soon. And then the field HQ will soon follow. All American infantry is honestly just getting slaughtered by this horde. But the American tanks, on the other hand, are just laying waste. We got mortars up at the front. Mortars and pack howitzers. Just going ham on this platoon command post. There it goes. Meanwhile, we got more infantry trying to push in, but that is probably all in vain. I think that's a cannon bomb? Yep, that is. There goes that squad. Meanwhile, they're still trying to get engineers over here to try and fix up everything, which is just not working out. Americans don't seem to be able to push either past like this horde of men. They're just spamming artillery right now to soften them up. But if they were a bit more accurate, this would be way faster, you know? I don't think the Americans really need 3 Pershings to spawn camp the Brits, but, well, a single British player, but you know, I'm not the one playing the Americans, so what do I know? Oh, My goodness. Well, I think I might call it here and give it to the Americans. Oh, yeah, I kind of have to. Yeah. This is gonna take way too long, honestly, for them to kill the Brits. So that is one for the Americans. On to match number 2. This will be a side swap. So now we saw the Americans absolutely annihilate the Brits. Let us see if anything changes if we swap the sides. Let us begin. So this time we will be spectating the Americans and see how they do early on. So immediately they already have assault engineers being pumped out. But yeah, no, the men are mostly just stuck running around in base instead of rolling out usually. They have gotten an early game bazooka on this rear echelon squad though, so that might help with any vehicle rushes. And now they're just starting to roll out. We got Warbond, the US Marines, and US Marines this game for the Americans. We won't be seeing any advanced weaponry. Instead, just a flood of men. Oh, we already have resource caches being built as well, unlike the Brits. These assault engineers are also incredibly aggressive early on. They will rip and tear through pretty much anything at point blank range as long as they aren't Sturm Pioneers. Once again, though, the American forces are a bit slow to start. Brits will probably be able to get their boys in before the Americans. I think one of the Brits have gone raid operations and called in some SAS paratroopers. Americans have made it to mid-first. Surprisingly. I don't know what the Brits are doing. Oh, we already have first contact. Back on this munitions point again. Brits are pushing in. The Americans should be pushing in closer, but they are opening up the gap. Nonetheless, the Brits are a bit too close for comfort, honestly. Ooh, that grenade might... Oh, the grenade definitely evened the odds a bit. That Piat doesn't help either. But, yeah, no, those engineers are absolutely gonna shred those riflemen at point blank and building cover. Yeah, the Americans win that fight. Britain may have initially took these points, but the Americans are pushing in on them hard now. Holy! Brits are trying to take top as well, but once again, the Americans are just overwhelming them. Like, the Brits can't really do much. What about down here? Yeah, the Americans just... all these engineers just overran them, along with some riflemen, Marine rifles. Meanwhile, the Brits are just pumping out commandos. Holy shit. I think 2 of them have gone commandos. American comp right now is mostly just riflemen, engineers, and lieutenants. So that is a raid half-track. Brits have busted out an early game Cromwell. That might change everything. They have the first armor at the front lines. Americans have gotten LVT, but that might not be able to do much against the Cromwell. Mixed assault units will also hit like a truck here if the Americans aren't careful. This raid half-track is absolutely shredding this Jeep. Ooh, these NGs just got themselves a flamethrower. Don't think it's gonna do much against a universal carrier, but oh, who am I to say otherwise? LVT pushing up to the front against those commandos. We got reserve riflemen. Those are reserve riflemen. Unlike other riflemen from other specializations, reserve riflemen only have bolt actions rather than semi-automatic Garands. Up top, we see the Americans have lost their points, but they have spearheaded another assault down here. They've reinforced these men in taking out that half track, and they might be able to pull off a pincer maneuver if they're fast enough. Over here, the Cromwell has gotten himself in deep trouble, back behind the front line. While down here, the British seem to be mounting an assault on 2 squads trying to defend. These Marine assault squads are absolutely outgunning these commandos though. The only reason why the commandos are still in the fight is because they're being reinforced by the Kangaroo. Marine assault squad though needs to deal with that heavy mechanized infantry section. This Cromwell is still somehow not dead. The American spearhead seems to have been blunted by just a constant flow of infantry. But they have secured the mid area quite well, honestly. Brits have managed to push through the 2 infantry squads down here. Americans will have to respond to that. Meanwhile, the Americans have busted out a Ronson pretty early. But not as early as that Cromwell. The 2 Ronsons and a Sherman. Okay. Yeah, against commandos, that's probably a good idea. Since most of the commandos' strength relies in their infantry. But it seems like one of the Brits have gone royal armor for, so watch out for vehicle spam later on. Up top, Brits are pushing and failing. Their commando assault has already been repelled, and the Americans have already mounted another assault on mid. But the Brits have managed to take the bot side and are fighting to have some sort of presence on mid. We got a boarhound over here that is alone behind enemy lines. Ooh, there goes that rear echelon squad. American Spearhead has managed to take this point over here. If they can keep that spearhead sharp, then they can just keep on pushing their way through. Ooh, but they're kind of blind. The M16, or rather M17, is going to blunt that spear if it's not dealt with. Luckily, they do have an M2 to wipe it out quickly. These medics are trying their best, but I think there's just way too many to really do much. All the spearheads pushing through. The Brits have mounted another assault. Raid sappers are trying, but they're kind of burning right now due to multiple flamethrowers. Heavy artillery has flattened this building and have seemingly damaged both sides. I think an earthquake bomb was dropped here, which is why these guys are suppressed. Major is pushed up. I think they're trying to establish a forward retreat. Ooh, those are flares. That might completely wipe out any resistance on the bot side for the Brits. The Brits don't really have much anti-tank down here either. What's dropping? Is that major artillery? I think that's the Major's already strike. That is a direct hit on that half track. It's not feeling too well. The spear has been called back, it seems, and is trying to reform. Meanwhile, over here, they just keep on sending in commandos. To no avail. Those Sen guns aren't going to do much against heavy tanks and heavy and medium tanks, you know? That Ronson is absolutely roasting that logistics officer alive. But this Boarhound is the only thing keeping the Americans from advancing forward. We do have a base howitzer strike over here. Let's see how much damage that does, you know? But Ronson being shoved in deep until it can't go any further. Americans have mounted another assault to claim this bot side. Meanwhile, we have glider commandos back here engaging with a Major as an M15 takes out the glider. Those guys are the Royal Marine Commando squads are absolutely terrifying if used properly. Sadly, the AI does not know how to use them. We do have a Kangaroo trying to push its way into rear, but holy! I have no idea what the hell just hit it. I think that's naval arty. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is a naval strike. Holy shit, that wiped it out completely. Oh my goodness. We do have a Tetrarch over here. Is trying to assist in retaking ground, but that's just honestly not happening. We had an officer squad that is now just one with the land, let's just say. I think that was another Sherman or Ronson just gunned down by the Boarhound. Oh, speaking of which, this Greyhound might die here to the Boarhound. And the Daimler. That Daimler is absolutely terrifying, honestly. Like, if you know how to abuse it as raid, you can get very early victories with it. That thing absolutely shreds infantry. And is dirt cheap to boot. Down here, the Americans are amassing a fuck ton of infantry and armor. So, British don't really have good defenses down here. Over here, British armor has been stopped. Americans may have lost an ambulance, but British forces are going to be losing a lot more if they're not too careful. I think that is an SAS. No, that is not. That's a recon flight called in by the Americans. Combat salvage stream absolutely shredding these Red Devils. Just abusing their SMGs from close quarters. Meanwhile, holy, we can see all the forces, all the British forces. I'm pretty sure the American... Oh, Brits have gotten a glider in the rear. I think the Americans might have to deal with that soon. Yeah, they're sending in a bulldozer Sherman to deal with it. That thing will absolutely, that thing will mow them all down, honestly. There's not much they can do here. Oh, but that, if that thing's not careful, it could have wiped out their own men. Commandos are forced to already retreat. Over here, we have artillery dropping huge shells. Ooh. No idea what that is. I just know you don't want to be hit by it. Oh boy, that kangaroo is not in a good position. Ton of Americans down here. Americans grouping up for another assault up top. But mid is pretty much empty. If the Brits can sneak something in the back there, then they can potentially backcap the Americans. I think that kangaroo carrier is dead. Ooh. Raid car almost got hit there. Almost. Yeah, no, Americans are taking back all the ground that they lost up top. That is pretty much all their men. The Brits are now pushing onto mid, which the Americans can't really do much against. Unless they are routing their forces from their assault. Yeah, no, they're routing all their forces to defend mid. They're cutting off any British reinforcements to the squad over here. The commandos and Red Devils are just kind of screwed. Oh, that's a mixed assault section. Yeah, no, commando just died. Mixed assault section was probably going to soon follow. Especially if the Americans follow up their assaults. Oh, vehicle crew manages to make it out alive with this Thompson. You know, over here. Oh, M15 already lost. To the boarhound. That boarhound has been doing some work. Holy. Where is that boarhound? I want to see its stats, honestly. They might be heading to these guys. We'll see. Well, Americans push back the Brits hard. Oh, there's the boarhound. Yeah, 2 infantry killed, 4 vehicles destroyed. That thing is putting in some work. Vet 2 already. This armored car, on the other hand, is probably gonna die. M17 is being pushed up to prevent these guys from capping. But we do have artillery called directly on this infantry section. I wonder what it is. Oh boy, it's dropping. Oh, we have base houses called in on this point, but they are a bit too late. Americans just, at this point, just absolutely outnumbering the Brits. And just outgunning them at every turn. My goodness. Yeah, the Brits are just being mowed down. Oh, do I speak too soon though? Boarhound is trying to support, but it's not really doing much. Oh! Those rear echelons were completely wiped. Meanwhile, this veteran Marine squad just completely cleans up everything. My goodness. Those guys are really good. Got Bulldozer Sherman up alone with another Bulldozer Sherman. But, it somehow manages to get out alive. Okay then. We have another infantry section pushing up, trying to retake any ground loss. But they might have been able to... Brits have managed to infiltrate some SAS in the rear. They're not going to be able to do much against a Ronson, and you're going to see they're absolutely melting, but you know. Holy. There goes the engineers. Oh my. They were absolutely annihilated. Machine gun is soon gonna follow them. At this rate. There he goes. American forces this time bunching up near the bot. Brits do actually have armor, unlike last game. But it feels like it doesn't matter. The Americans just have way more. Oh, there goes that rocket gun squad. M22 Locust trying its best to defend itself. Oh, Scott just got a really good hit on that infantry section. No, they got more Ronsons being pushed up to trying to take out all this infantry. I think naval arty is being dropped right now. Brits have a Centurion though, except it was just directly hit by artillery. Holy. That might be the end of that one. Oh, US do now have Pershings and Easy 8s along with Jacksons. If the Brits aren't too careful here with their armor here, they might just die real quick. Ooh, Easy 8 just got slapped by a 6-pounder hard. Veteran Marine squad might be coming in to clean it up though. The Brits have sent another squad of glider commandos in the rear. But, well, T-20 and Scott are just gonna absolutely clean house over there. T-14 just mowing down everything. Holy shit. Meanwhile, over here, where all the British armor is located, you have Centaur, M17, oh. They're about to, that M17's pronouns are about to be changed soon, you know? From it to was. Centurion is trying to be fixed, but Ronson is exposing it, forcing infantry off of it. Centurion is luckily pretty durable, so... Ooh, vehicle crew once again, balls of steel, coming out to try and fix up their vehicle, but to no avail. Centurion has fallen to the Super Pershing and the Veteran Marines. And I think this is going to be it for the Brits. The Americans are pushing in with their heavy armor. There's swarms of infantry. My goodness. Brits pretty much have nothing left. Alright, if the Americans take these points and just start camping out sides of the British spawn, I'm just gonna call that a win for the Americans since they just take ages to assault. Ooh, Brits did manage to take out an American tank there though. Meanwhile, on this side, there goes a sniper. Brits are trying to push back, though. M4A3 is pushing way into the enemy lines with no support whatsoever, and is about to be gunned down soon. SAS pushed up. They will no longer be at the front line soon enough. Front lines have shifted drastically. Oh my goodness. That is a Sherman Firefly with tulips. Holy. While over here, the Brits are still trying to pump out more men. To no avail. They're just being gunned down by all the tanks. Ooh! The Blackwatch AT, I think, just killed themselves there with the blast of their own bazookas. And they were all just mowed down and run over by the T-20. That is some serious friendly fire. Holy. Back here, we got more glider commandos. Don't you love them? M15 trying to do its job, but it is not working. Meanwhile, we have this horde that the Brits have to deal with. If they lose as Firefly, it might as well just be GG. Oh boy, the American horde is coming in. Oh, that's 2 Pershings. Brits have 1 point left. I don't think they could do much. Ooh, hit with naval. Here comes another 3 shells. And the last set of shells. Oh, that makes my game lag. German is gonna get gunned down along with these engineers soon enough. Ooh, there it goes. There it goes. Meanwhile, over here we have some sort of squad trying to sneak a back cap. But the Americans have already made their way inside of British fortifications. Brits can't really do much. It's going to be very difficult for them to just start leaving spawn at this point. Because Americans have just parked an ambulance outside and are using that to reinforce. Well, this Cromwell crew, no, the Centurion crew, well, Centaur crew, is forced to bail. That is a free AA piece if the Americans want to cap it. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna die. Yep, there it goes. What are the Americans gonna do? They're just gonna camp outside, and the Brits are just gonna have to weather this storm. Ooh, that poor guy was just run over. Same goes to those 2 other models. This is just outside of British spawn. Americans have yet to capture this point up here. Otherwise, every point has been taken. Ooh, more artillery. Just, of course, because there just needed to be more artillery. I think this glider is being dropped right here or here. Okay. Brits are just trying their best, but I'm pretty sure we can safely call it as soon as they grab this point. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can once again safely call it that the Americans have won this round. So, with that being said, I need to update the bracket. If I can remember where I put the file for it. Oh, with that, the bracket has been updated. Next week around the same time as today on Wednesday will be the second to last match, the second match of the semifinals, where it will be Russians versus Wehrmacht. Once that match is over, all that's left is the finals, and that's gonna be it for this series. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, and good night.